What would you dare to do for Jesus? Would you defy dictators? Worship in secret? Sacrifice your safety? Over 360 million Christians around the world face persecution and discrimination every day. And these are the top 10 countries where Christians risk everything for Christ. Number 10, Sudan. Unrest in Sudan has increased following a military coup. Violence and pressure against Christians have worsened. At number 9, Afghanistan. Following the Taliban takeover, those Christians who have not fled the country have been forced deep underground. If discovered, they face death. Iran is at number 8. Iranian house churches are seen as a threat by the Islamist regime. Church members who are caught are given long prison sentences. Number 7, Pakistan. Pakistan's infamous blasphemy laws are often used to target believers. Christian women and girls are vulnerable to kidnap and forced marriage. Nigeria is at number 6. More Christians are killed in Nigeria than in all the other countries of the world combined. And the violence is getting worse. Number 5, Libya. In this lawless land, both native and migrant Christians are targeted, kidnapped, and even killed. At number 4 is Eritrea. Christians who dare to meet without official permission risk arrest. Over 1,000 believers are in jail without charge. Yemen is number 3 on the list. The humanitarian crisis continues. Anyone suspected of being a Christian will be deliberately overlooked for aid and might be expelled or killed by their own tribe. Number 2 is Somalia. Islamic militants are intensifying their hunt for Christians, and violent attacks are increasing. And at number 1, North Korea, the most dangerous place in the world to be a Christian. Spies are everywhere. Discovery means death, either by execution or by being worked to death in a labour camp. Despite the danger, in all these countries the church is not defeated. It is living, powerful, defiant. And for over 65 years, Open Doors has stood with this church. Where Christians risk persecution, our underground networks support millions of believers with emergency food and aid, spiritual care, smuggled Bibles and Christian books, training and legal advice. And where Christians enjoy freedom, we work with local churches to raise prayer and support and to speak truth to those in power. Every day around the world, Christians risk everything to follow Christ. Will you dare to stand with them?
Freedom of thought, conscience, and religion is a fundamental human right. But in recent times, it has faced significant challenges worldwide. The COVID-19 pandemic, geopolitical conflicts, economic crises, and the rise of autocrats have diverted attention and resources away from addressing violations of this fundamental human right. Religious minorities have been particularly vulnerable, facing discrimination, persecution, and violence with little international response. The 2023 edition of the Religious Freedom Report explores the two-year period between January 2021 and December 2022, a time dominated by significant global events. This report, conducted by Aid to the Church in Need, analyzes violations of freedom of religion and belief according to a sliding scale of severity. The research reveals that in 61 countries, where 4.9 billion people live, discrimination and persecution against religious minorities are apparent, with the fundamental right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion under pressure or curtailed through new laws. The report identifies 28 countries as suffering persecution, half of which are in Africa, where religious minorities face atrocities, repression, surveillance, electoral obstacles, and attacks from both state and non-state actors. Shockingly, citizens are persecuted or even murdered by their own governments, often with little or no response from the international community. Autocrats, including authoritarian governments, Islamist extremists, ethno-religious nationalists, and organized criminal groups, are the driving force behind the worst violations of religious freedom. These persecutors seek to eliminate the authority held by undesired religious communities. The repeated violent attacks force religious minorities to immigrate, reducing a faith group to the point where its long-term survival is in doubt. In the discrimination category, 33 countries demonstrate deteriorating religious freedom conditions. Here, new anti-conversion laws have been introduced and existing laws strengthened, which carry fines and prison penalties to both the convert and the spiritual guide. In the Middle East, punishment for apostasy can go as far as the death penalty. In the education system, reports in Asia revealed that increasingly textbooks have been revised in favor of the majoritarian religion, eliminating the historical contribution of religious minorities. The under observation category indicates countries where religious freedom is gradually eroding, with incidents of intolerance, discrimination, and even persecution. 8 new countries were added to this category, which among others include Guinea-Bissau, Benin, and Indonesia. Here, attacks on religious sites and intimidation of religious communities have been justified under the guise of progressive social causes. The rise of digital technology and social media platforms has presented new challenges for religious freedom. Online platforms have become breeding grounds for hate speech, incitement of violence, and targeting of religious minorities. Extremist groups and individuals exploit these platforms to recruit followers, spread radical ideologies, and coordinate attacks on religious communities. The fundamental right to religious freedom is under threat as never before. The ability to exercise this right, to bear witness in words and deeds to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, is the hallmark of any truly free and just society. The opposite, the process of silencing or marginalizing those bearing witness to conscience and religious beliefs, is the antecedent for more serious persecution. Don't close your eyes to religious persecution.
Hello everybody, I'm Archbishop Bernard Longley from the Archdiocese of Birmingham and here in the chapel at Archbishop's House. I'm delighted to stand with you in solidarity with the millions of Christians as well as those of other religions who are persecuted for their faith. We're doing something remarkable. We are breaking the silence on behalf of those who suffer, but whose stories, sadly, are not known. Aid to the Church in Need is asking us to show the world that we care about the 5,000 Christians who died in Nigeria last year because of their faith. With you, I want to ask why Africa is among the most dangerous places in the world to be a Christian, and to ask what our government is doing to help. I'm joining you today to encourage and thank each one of you. Your prayers make a difference. Your voice makes a difference. Every cake sale, each sponsored walk makes a difference. And on this Red Wednesday, we say that we will do what we can to ensure this world is safe and peaceful for all people of faith. If you are already involved in a Red Wednesday event in your parish or school community, I wish you much success. And I also thank you for standing in solidarity with our brothers and sisters. We must break the silence on their behalf. I wish you every blessing. Amen.